got a shiny nose.
I've got some bad news, folks. Christmas is going to be cancelled.
Every time the melody of A Holly Jolly Christmas plays, a warm, familiar feeling floods back, reminding me of those winter evenings full of memories. Those moments when I sat with my close friends in a small room, eyes glued to the old television screen, completely absorbed in every second of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. We sat together, holding fragrant cookies and warm cups of milk, fully immersed in the story of the red-nosed reindeer. Each scene, each melody felt like an inseparable part of childhood memories, a gift that would never fade in the Christmas season. But have you ever wondered? Behind that magical story was a production process full of challenges with secrets that have not been fully revealed until now. Did you know that Rudolph's familiar voice was not that of a boy but of an elderly woman? Or that after the film was nearly completed, the creators had to change the script due to unforeseen issues? Let's explore the untold stories behind Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer to uncover the hidden secrets behind this legendary film. 20. The Misfit Toy Island. A secret hidden for decades. The scene of the Misfit Toy Island always leaves a deep impression on me, where the toys were abandoned because they weren't perfect, not like the other toys. Broken toy trains, ugly dolls, all longing for a loving family. And when we see Rudolph and his friends visiting the island promising to help these toys, they strangely never appear again. After the film aired, the producers were surprised by the flood of letters from viewers expressing disappointment that the misfit toys were never helped. One director shared that they couldn't just leave these toys behind because they were an important part of the story. Therefore, a new scene was added in 1965, completing the film and bringing satisfaction to the audience. This made the film more complete, creating an ending that not only made me, but also you feel relieved when everything had been resolved. 19. The year error in the opening scene. Every time the melody of A Holly Jolly Christmas plays, a warm, familiar feeling floods back, as if Christmas is just around the corner. When the sparkling light from Rudolph's red nose pierces through the mist, I feel as though I'm entering a magical world where anything wonderful can happen. However, few notice that in the opening of the film, there is a small error with the year 1164 instead of 1964, a tiny detail that has persisted through the years. This mistake quietly stayed there, no one questioned it, and the film continued to live on in the memories of every holiday season. Even when the film was re-aired, the error was never corrected as an imprint of time. All we cared about back then was the story of the red-nosed reindeer, about the miracles and the magic. Who would notice such an unfamiliar number? A member of the film crew shared that they noticed the error but didn't think it was important. It was this imperfection that contributed to making the film special and unforgettable in everyone's hearts. 18. Rudolph's voice was that of a woman. Rudolph's voice always made me think it was a boy with innocence and fierce courage. But in reality, Rudolph's sweet voice was not that of a boy, but of a woman. Billie Mae Richards, also known as Billie Richards, was the one who voiced this character. She shared that when she received this role, she never expected that she would be voicing a reindeer, and she certainly didn't think the role would leave such a lasting impression. She wanted Rudolph's voice to be gentle, yet strong, like a symbol of facing challenges in life. Thanks to her sensitivity and emotions in every line Billie Mae Richards made, Rudolph come to life and become more relatable than ever, making all of us, whether children or adults, feel the silent strength of this character. 17. The Saviour puppets of Santa Claus and Rudolph left behind. In the deep memories of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, there's a story that few know about the saviour puppets of Santa Claus and Rudolph. After the film aired, these puppets were left in the dark, forgotten by everyone. However, in 2007, a miraculous event happened when these puppets were discovered in the attic of a woman. Peter McGee, a crew member, recalled, "We couldn't believe our eyes when we found them. Santa had lost his eyebrows and mustache, and Rudolph no longer had his shiny red nose. These puppets had been forgotten for many years, but thanks to restoration efforts, they were brought back to life. After being restored, they were not just decoration items, but became living symbols of childhood memories. I know that every time I see them, you and I both feel as if we are returning to those old Christmas days when time seemed to leave no room for these beautiful memories to fade. 16. The mysterious absence of 2 reindeer in the final scene. There's an odd detail in Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer that few notice in the final scene. Santa's sleigh only has 6 reindeer instead of 8 as usual. This shortage makes me feel like something is missing, as if a puzzle piece was left out. I've always wondered as a kid, why are there only 6 reindeer Sarah Johnson a fan shared? When asked about this detail, Daniel Ford, one of the project leaders, explained that due to some technical issues, they couldn't use all 8 reindeer. However, they thought that this shortage would create a mysterious atmosphere for the scene. Although it's a small detail, the absence of those 2 reindeer created a magical effect, making the final scene of the film unforgettable. And even now, every time I look back at the film, I can't help but feel there's something special about that moment, like a strange magical mystery that can't be explained. 15. The subtle efforts of the animators to create Rudolph. Every time I see Rudolph with his glowing red nose leading Santa's reindeer team, I can't help but be amazed. But few know that behind each smooth step of this red-nosed reindeer, there's a meticulous and painstaking job done by the animators. To make Rudolph come to life, the animators spent months observing wild deer, studying every little detail of how they moved. Jack Robber, an animator on the team, shared, "We spent 2 days in a national park observing wild deer to understand how they moved and how to make Rudolph's steps come to life. To create a living world for Rudolph, more than 200 puppets were crafted, each with a unique style suitable for each scene." One animator on the team shared, "We couldn't use the same puppet for all the characters. Each deer had its own distinct traits, and we wanted to incorporate all of those into our animation. It was this meticulousness and subtlety that created an image of Rudolph that wasn't just a puppet, but a living character, making every time we see him, the audience's hearts beat faster." 14. The flying effect without using CGI. Every time I see Santa and the reindeer flying across the snowy sky, I can't help but wonder how the characters could fly. Today, with advanced CGI technology, creating such flying scenes has become easier than ever. But in 1964, when this technology didn't exist, the filmmakers had to come up with a completely manual method. To create that magical flying effect, the artists used strings to suspend the puppets and adjusted them to make it look as though they were gliding through the air. John Miller, an animator on the team, recalled, "We spent hours making sure the puppets flew naturally, as if they were really gliding in the sky." Although this technique seemed simple, it required immense creativity and patience. And with each movement of Rudolph, each flying scene of the reindeer team, it wasn't just an effect, but a miracle. The perfect combination of craftsmanship and artistic talent. Without CGI, the artists created unforgettable flying scenes that made this film live on in our memories. 13. The lengthy production process. 18 months to make one episode. A number you might never think of. The production process for one episode of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer took 18 months. That's an incredibly long time, especially for a stop-motion animated film. It may sound unbelievable, but to create each shot, the production team had to work extremely meticulously and carefully. The puppets only moved a tiny bit with each shot, and each scene was built piece by piece from the smallest finger movements. Tom Williams, a member of the production team, shared, "Every second of the film was handmade. A puppet only moved a tiny bit after every shot." Another director, Helen Carter, explained, "We filmed at 2 frames per shot, and in 1 second we had to move the puppets at least 24 times. It was this patience and meticulousness that created such a special motion effect, making Rudolph not just an animated film, but a work of art. This also explains why the film still lives on in the hearts of viewers. 12. The sponsorship agreement was only for 2 airings. When Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer first aired in 1964, no one imagined that it would become a Christmas symbol. Initially, the film was only sponsored for 2 airings with a contract from General Electric. No one thought the film would last this long because at the time, it was just a Christmas program for children. Richard Stone, the film's producer, shared, "We thought this was just a regular Christmas show. No one thought it would have such a lasting impact." Barbara Miller, a member of the production team, recalled, "We just hoped the film would make a good impression, but we never imagined it would be so successful." And although it was only aired twice initially, the film became an inseparable part of every Christmas season, with annual re-airings. Rudolph became a tradition, making not only me, but you, and millions of others, eagerly anticipate it every holiday season. 11. The song that was missing for 3 decades. For 3 decades, the song "We're a Couple of Misfits" was replaced by another song called "Fame and Fortune." When I heard the new version, I felt like an important part of the film had disappeared, as if something had been forgotten. Johnny Marks, the composer of the song, shared, "We never imagined this song would be replaced for such a long time. But this didn't diminish the love people had for the film." Helen Parker, a producer, stated, "We replaced the song for media reasons, but we didn't realise this would leave viewers feeling disappointed." Fortunately, in 1998, when the film was released on home video, the song "We're a Couple of Misfits" was brought back, reviving old memories. It was amazing to hear this song again, because it brought back that warm feeling as if Christmas always comes back. David Thompson, a longtime fan, shared, "And every time we hear that melody again, I know you can feel the warmth as those childhood memories come rushing back." 10. Yukon's Candy, Die Mine, a secret revealed. Yukon, the quirky yet lovable character in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, always made me think of someone searching for gold. But few know that there was a cut scene that revealed he was actually mining for candy, not gold. Sam Smith, one of the screenwriters, shared, "We wanted to create a humorous element, so we decided to give Yukon a quirky habit. Initially, we thought he was looking for gold, but then a cut scene revealed something much more interesting." Rick Lawson, the technical director, explained that scene was so interesting but couldn't be used due to time constraints. However, the idea of a candy mine made Yukon even more special. The absence of this scene made many viewers, especially me, and you, feel something was missing, as if an undisclosed secret was left untold. When we learned about the candy mine, it felt like a part of the film that I never expected had been discovered. This cut scene was an interesting detail, making me laugh every time I think about it. What do you think about this? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below the video. 9. The sadness of Dolly for Sue. Dolly, with her innocent and adorable appearance, is a character that few know carries a deep sadness behind that smile. She wasn't just a discarded toy, but a symbol of things that are never loved, things that have no place in the perfect world we create. A member of the production team once shared, "We wanted Dolly to be a character with depth, not just a simple toy. She represents the forgotten things, the abandoned ones in this world." Dolly was not just a puppet, but a reflection of loneliness of those who feel forgotten. A crew member shared, "Dolly feels lonely, like a toy that no one needs." The feeling of being abandoned is a sadness that only those who have experienced it can truly understand. It was this sadness that made Dolly a special character in the hearts of the audience. Despite being a small puppet, Dolly imparted a profound lesson about accepting and loving imperfect things. 8. Burl Ives and the role of Sam the Snowman. When we met Sam the Snowman in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, a warm feeling filled the air. Sam's role as the storyteller guiding us through each magical Christmas scene became an inseparable part of the film. However, few know that this character wasn't in the script initially. At first, the film had no narrator, but thanks to the unexpected appearance of Burl Ives, the role of Sam the Snowman was created. Burl Ives, who voiced Sam, recalled, When I was invited to the project, the script was nearly finished, but the story was still missing. A voice that could warm the atmosphere of the film. Ives brought Sam to life with a warm, charming voice, making him a Christmas icon. I didn't think a secondary role like Sam could have such a big impact, Burl Ives shared. But I poured my whole heart into this role because I knew it would become an inseparable part of the audience's hearts. Now, every time we hear the song, "A Holly Jolly Christmas," both you and I feel like we're wrapped in a warm blanket, and Sam's voice, Burl Ives, has created endless Christmas magic. 7. Rudolph is an international product. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer might be considered an American product, but few know that the film is the result of an exceptional international collaboration. The script was written in New York. The voice recordings were made in Toronto. The music was composed and recorded in London, and the stop-motion animation was done in Japan. A perfect blend of different countries and cultures. When we were kids, I and you couldn't imagine that our favourite film was created by artists from all around the world. Arthur Rankin, one of the founders of Rankin Bass, recalled, "To create a special film, we needed to collaborate with talented people from all over. Each team contributed an important part to create the magic everyone loves." Jiro Maeda. The Japanese art director shared, "Although we didn't know much about Christmas, we researched thoroughly to make each scene as lively and beautiful as possible. This international collaboration created a film that is not only a Christmas gift for us, but for everyone who loves it around the world." Hermie's name was misspelled for many years. An interesting detail that few notice is that the name of Hermie the elf, who dreamed of becoming a dentist, was misspelled for many years. Throughout various merchandise, such as colouring books and toys, Hermie's name was written as Herbie. In fact, his real name was Hermie. Romeo Mueller. The screenwriter of the film shared, "At first, we didn't think his name was important. But when the merchandise started being released, people began calling him Herbie instead of Hermie. Although the name may have been wrong, the value Hermie brought remained true. He wasn't just a cute character, but also a symbol for those who feel different. The name may have been wrong, but Hermie has always held a special place in the hearts of the audience." 5. Rudolph changes channels. After 50 years, a breakthrough move on NBC. When Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer first aired in 1964 on CBS, no one thought it would become a Christmas icon. However, after 50 years of continuous airing on CBS in 2024, the film made a major shift when it moved to NBC. This was a bold and surprising decision that gave the classic film a fresh new look. Tom Sargent, one of the producers of the film, shared, "After 50 years on CBS, we realised it was time to do something new to bring the film closer to a new generation of viewers." This move to NBC not only gave the film an opportunity to be upgraded with better picture quality, but it also opened a new era with brighter and sharper colours than ever before. Mark Thompson, NBC's director, proudly said, "We are very excited to air a film as iconic as Rudolph. This is a rare opportunity for us to connect the older and newer generations of viewers." 4. The cast was largely Canadian. Although Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer might be seen as an American product, few know that the film was actually created largely by voice actors from Canada. The warm and familiar voices you hear in the film were actually recorded in Toronto, not Hollywood. Billy Mae Richards, who voiced Rudolph, shared, "When I joined this project, I didn't know it would become a part of a Christmas tradition lasting for decades. We just knew we were doing something special." Paul Soles, who voiced Hermie, also shared, "We were part of a wonderful project, even though we were just in Toronto. We never expected it to impact future generations. These voices, though not from Hollywood stars, brought a warmth and closeness, something that every time I and you hear them, we feel the sincerity in every line." 3. The huge production costs. Every year when Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer airs, we simply enjoy the heartwarming story of the red-nosed reindeer leading Santa's reindeer team. However, few know that in order to create this film, the producers had to spend a huge sum of money at the time, up to £500 a large amount compared to other animated films of the era. Arthur Rankin, one of the founders of Rankin Base, recalled $500,000 at the time was a very large amount. But we knew that only with this investment could we create a perfect film, especially for a project like this. To create the more than 200 puppets artists and craftsmen worked tirelessly. Jiro Maeda, the Japanese art director, said, "We had to create each puppet by hand, carving and painting them. The labour and time involved was immense. These puppets were not just moving objects on the screen, but works of art." This film became one of the most expensive and important animated films in history. 2. Rudolph's nose really glows. Every time Rudolph appears with his glowing red nose, you and I can't help but wonder, how does his nose shine so brightly? Today, we might immediately think of CGI, but in reality, it was completely different. To create this glowing effect, the artists used a creative manual method. They placed a 12-volt light bulb inside Rudolph's puppet nose. Peter McGee, the film's producer, shared, "Since CGI hadn't been invented yet, we used a small light bulb to make the nose really glow. Every time they filmed, the artists had to adjust the brightness of the light bulb to make sure it was just right, not too bright or too weak. While this method may seem simple, a lot of effort went into achieving the perfect effect. And every time we see Rudolph's red nose glowing, it's not just a detail in the story, but also a magical symbol of Christmas. 1. Santa's beard is made of yak hair. The interesting fact. Few know you might never have imagined that Santa Claus's beard wasn't made of cotton or wool as we often think, but it was actually made from yak hair. This is an interesting detail that surely you and I never expected. Rick Lawson, one of the restoration artists for the film, shared yak hair was the perfect choice to make Santa's beard. It was not only soft, but also very durable. Every time we filmed, we had to comb and keep the beard soft, making sure it wouldn't get tangled. This created a natural warm look for the beard, which fit perfectly with the Christmas atmosphere. That beard wasn't just a decorative detail, it truly made Santa come alive and become more lovable than ever. It feels like that beard brought the magic of the holiday season, making Christmas even more special in our eyes. So we've explored the secrets behind Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer that few people know about. The untold stories, the controversial details, all of them have created a legendary masterpiece, not just of Christmas, but also of childhood. Were you surprised by these secrets? Is there anything you've always wondered about this film? Feel free to leave your questions or thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the next exciting videos.